Josh Adams.
The Commonwealth, Virginia. We head all the way over to South Boston Speedway here for another race on the Hyper Summer Series here at the Misfit Racing League. Race number 6 here tonight from South Boston Speedway. We've got it all. We've had it rocking and rolling. We were at Myrtle Beach 2 weeks ago where Cody Dempster was able to pick up the win. But here tonight, we're here at Sobo. My name is Scott Shive. I'm joined alongside by Sky Shrek. We got Bradley Cooper here in production, all bringing to you live here on B-Speed with MRL. Sky, we've got a good one here, and it's going to be under the lights at Sobo.
Yeah, Sobo is your playground. This is a place you love, and it's a very historic track for all of auto racing, really. 0.4 miles in length, banking 12 degrees in the turns, 10 degrees down that front straightaway. This is a track that, you said it in pre-race, it's going to be a little hard to pass at. Drivers are really going to have to know how to work both the inside and the outside if they want to get moves done here. And under the lights, they might have a little bit more in these tires to maybe make some of those moves.
68 seasons of racing here at South Boston Speedway, and we got the super late models. They're known up in Virginia to run the late model stocks, but we've brought the super late models here this evening. And Sky, you mentioned it about hard to pass. We'll have to see how it will work tonight with these super late models, but let's jump into the points, because we have got quite a point situation up at the top of the boards. Corey Bodie leads it by 25 points over Aaron Johnson, who qualified on pole here this evening. Then it's Jake Grout, Alex Grates, and Christian Peterson all in the top 5. But one of the stories, Alex Grates will not be here tonight.
No, he won't, so that'll make that battle even tighter. He'll drop out of it. Peterson and Harden will be moving up the board, and as warm-up wraps up, we're going to get into the qualifying grid here shortly. We've got great news for one of those drivers who's kind of in that 2nd through 6th fight.
Yeah, one of those drivers, Christian Peterson, is starting in 5th. He'll actually be starting up on pole because of the invert, because it will be a 6-car invert, so a little bit of a slower qualifying. He'll be starting up on pole, though, and we're getting ready to grid. I'm really excited for this because we've got a great battle. We've had a great battle throughout here in the championship, and one of the many storylines here this evening is that Corey Bodie, your championship leader, has yet to be able to win. We've had 5 different winners so far, Sky.
Yeah, he's had a great season. He's consistently run up towards the front of the field, and yet he just hasn't broken through into victory lane. He's been so close on multiple occasions, 3rd at IRP, 3rd at Myrtle Beach. Maybe this will be the race where he finally breaks through. He'll be up on 2nd after the invert, and that might help him to do something.
You see your race analysis, 150 laps here from the 0.4 of a mile oval, 35 miles per hour speed limit on pit road. That'll be important because we do have 2 extra sets of tires, so always 3 green, white checkered attempts and open setups here at MRL, 100% fuel as always. Let's go ahead and get into your starting grid here from South Boston Speedway. Up towards the front, it will be Christian Peterson starting on pole with Corey Bodie to his outside, starting on the outside of that front row. Then it's William Hale starting in 3rd. Justin Mulligan, a great qualifying effort for him. It'll put him in 4th after the inverts. Then right back in 5th and 6th will be Tanner Bethea, and your driver who was fastest in qualifying, Aaron Johnson, will start 6th. Back behind them, this is your regular running order. It is Cody Dempster, winner from Myrtle Beach, starting in 7th. Jake Sylvia in the 118, starting in 8th. Row number 5, the last of the top 10, Tim Weinkopf, a great run for him. A good qualifying. Can he produce it to a good race? John Leday rounding up the top 10 in the 22.
And rolling on back from there, Jake Grout goes from 11th in the 61 with Matthew Knott in the 82 in 12th. Brad Carpenter in the 31 rolls from 13th tonight. Robert Taylor in the 66 from P14. A couple drivers who've had pretty good seasons starting further back here in row 8. It's Michael Wiseman in the 1 and 15th. Aaron Harden in the 85 to his outside. And last 2 cars on the field tonight will be Justin Crowe in the 86 and Hudson Geiger in the 10.
Yeah, Geiger had a little bit of a rough go 2 weeks ago at Myrtle Beach. Got caught up in an early incident before the 50-lap mark. We said that drivers, I think they're going to have it a little bit easier tonight here at Sobo. Well, they can make it easier on themselves. It's really up to the drivers here, Sky, with how they're going to take this one at Sobo.
Yeah, one thing we noticed from practice is that your pole sitter, Christian Peterson, was one of a couple cars in the field who was really focusing on long run speed. We'll see if that pays off from that pole position.
We'll get to talk more about that, about drivers who went for qualifying speed versus long run speed, but we'll get the green flag here from South Boston Speedway. 150 laps in the super late models. Christian Peterson inverted up towards the pole. He'll take the lead, single file into 3.
Good jump for him, but immediately on the attack is going to be Corey Bodie back there in 2nd. He wants this win badly, doesn't have one yet this season, like you said. Starting up with 2nd on the invert. This is maybe his best chance to get one if he can get around Peterson here tonight.
Definitely one of the best shots for Bodie. But again, like we said, a lot of laps ahead for these drivers. Out of turn 2, you can see them pretty much all single file for now. Only one battle side by side. That's Tim Weinkopf in the 54, trying to battle to the inside of Jake Sylvia. Sylvia started a spot behind him, but will be able to rip it on the top side. That's one thing here about South Boston Speedway, that middle groove, you're able to carry a lot of speed and momentum off of the corners, and there's not one preferred groove here. You can really run both lanes.
Yeah, and you're seeing a couple cars get side by side early. A little further back, you've got Robert Taylor here in the 66, side by side with that 31 car of Brad Carpenter as the 66 tries to make that top lane work. Doesn't quite have the run he's going to need, though. That'll give Carpenter the spot. Maybe the inside working a little better for that 31 car at the moment. Justin Crowe going to look to follow him through, up 3 spots here in the first couple laps.
Robert Taylor dropping back just a little bit, as a little bit of contact there between Crowe and Carpenter. Carpenter, those 2 spots that he just gained, he's going to lose them, and he might lose another. The 85 of Aaron Harden, he's going to make a tap to the rear of Robert Taylor, and he almost gets sideways.
And Aaron Harden is a driver who's going to want to get up to the front quickly here. 6th in the points. He's going to move up to 5th here with Alex Grates not in the race tonight. but he really wants to be further up the field if he wants to actually get good points and keep himself in the championship fight, especially in the fight for second that he is so close in right now. So he is going to need to get some spots in a hurry.
Well, then we mentioned the closeness of most of those points, the difference between second and sixth in the point standings, 15 points. If you look at the battle fourth through sixth with Aaron Harden sitting in sixth, the battle less than 3 points. But out here on track as they battle, Johnson, that driver that sits in second, he's currently seventh on the track, battling with 2 weeks ago winner Cody Dempster.
Dempster there running that high side, trying to make that move work there for P6. Cody Dempster started just outside the invert here. Aaron Johnson, your driver who was on pole prior to it. We know the 78's pretty confident for tonight. We've heard that he likes this track. This is a place where he knows how to race, and it's a place where he knows how to win. So he is expecting a victory in that 78 car tonight. Holding off Dempster right there for P6. He's got quite a ways to go to get up to the front.
Tried to clear himself a little bit there, Sky. I think Dempster let him go, backed out of that one, but I don't think Aaron Johnson was quite clear off of that. But this is one thing that we mentioned in pre-race. It can be difficult to pass here at South Boston just because a lot of these drivers, a lot of close in speed, but it's especially just how the two lanes race. As you see door-to-door contact, wheel-to-wheel is Sylvia and Weinkauf, a battle that we saw moments ago. Sylvia had made the pass on Weinkauf, but Weinkauf able to jump to the high side, wrap the corner, carry that momentum out, and they're nose-to-nose going into 3.
Yeah, it's a role reversal. Oh, Weinkauf, hold on to it.
Oh.
Keeps it straight on the top there, but he's going to lose about 3 positions. Slide that car on back to 11th behind John Leday, and he'll need to get that car back under him here to try to hold 12th for Matthew Knott as well. Scary moment there for Weinkauf.
Well, once you get out of the groove, I don't mean the racing groove, I'm talking about the groove of driving, because we said there's 2 grooves here that you can race on, but Weinkauf just got out of his headspace right there, got bumped out of line, and it made him lose all those positions. He dropped back from battling for 8th to now sitting in 13th outside of the top 10.
Not a great move for him there. There has been a move made further up the field. Tanner Bethay's gotten up to 4th, and then Aaron Johnson has gotten up to 5th as Justin Mulliken in that 51 car has slid back to P7 after rolling off in P4 after the invert tonight. Some problems for that 51 car, not working out well in the early going for him.
He was running in 4th just a moment ago when it looked like he just seemed to have a bit of a problem. The car was a lot slower than it had been. He was just really off the pace. Now he's right back to where he was. So I think he might have had a bit of a moment on his own and just had to gather his thoughts, gather the race car back up, and set his focus on forward. Look at this battle, 3rd through 5th. I know we just jumped back to the rear. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm getting ahead of Bradley because Bradley's finding us all the stuff. I was about to talk about 3 cars are all close together. Well, this is 6 cars that are close together. This looks like 9th place on back. Jake Grout all the way back to Weinkauf.
Yeah, and you've got Leday there in that 22 that we're watching in that all gray car, kind of in the middle of these 2 battles for 8th and for 11th. Here we go to the inside. Is Jake Grout on the 118? Can he make that car get the spot? Little advantage up the road there. Looks like he's going to have the advantage out of 2, but some near contact between those cars. Sylvia will hold the top. Maybe John Leday can slide through as well.
Well, this is something that we just saw, that we've seen out of these super late models all season long in the Hyper Summer Series. When you grab the wall, the car becomes a magnet with itself and the wall, and they just want to join together. You have to slow down so much to get that car off the wall that you lose so much time. That's what we just saw out of Sylvia there, and Grout was easily able to get past and up into 8th spot. The battle between 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Hale, Bethay, and Johnson. William Hale, we haven't seen him in quite a while, but he had a great top 3 effort back all the way in the opening race at 5 Flags. He's running in the top 3 once again. Could he be a challenger possibly for the win later on in this race?
Look at that gap that's opened up there between Mulliken and Grout. That's over 3 seconds between P7 and P8. These cars have been doing battle for these spots at the back of the top 10, and it's really backed all of these cars up. They're going to need a caution here if they want to catch back up to that lead group, because right now, I mean, your top 7 cars are just checked out from everybody else.
Well, and I was just talking about William Hale. He started 3 times here this season in the Hyper Summer Series. This is his 4th start, but his first 2 starts at 5 Flags IRP, a 3rd and a 2nd. He had a rough race at Oxford Plains, finishing 21st, and we haven't seen him since then. But he got caught up in a lot of those big crashes that we saw at Oxford. So he is absolutely a driver that could contend for that win. But you mentioned how close they are. He's loose right now, but they're going to get into him. Checks up. That's all because of lap traffic.
Great battle going on right now up here for P3. That's Robert Taylor. You said the lap traffic sliding back there. Maybe Bethea can jump. Started out back in 5th after losing some time on that invert, but he's got the car going pretty well up to P3. This is a driver who really maximized for qualifying speed in practice. If you looked, he ran about 105 laps. Only about 35 of those were actual laps because he just kept resetting after every lap to try to maximize his 1-lap quali time. Seems like he has a little bit of long run speed here too, as we're 32 laps in. He's moving through the field. Slow car on the front straightaway there. That's Hudson Geiger in the 10.
Geiger able to get it moving. He's able to get, if he needs to go to pit road, he can here, but he's back up to speed. Looks like he had a bit of a moment on his own, but that car was always sticking straight. No caution from iRacing. He might have a bit of a problem as he's slowing up here out of turn number 4. That's a dangerous spot. Wow, cannot believe Weinkauf got out of that one. But this is not good from Hudson Geiger. That was not a good place to try to come to a stop. We'll take a look here at the drivertees.com replay to what caused the initial slowage.
Let's see if there's anything
behind here.
Yeah,
Aaron
let's see if
Harden
there's anything
right in front.
particular.
Weinkauf there as well. Wonder if he maybe just gets sideways on his own. Yep, he's sideways. He doesn't spin. That's why we didn't see the caution from iRacing, but after that, he gets back on track, but stays very slow here, trying to stay out of the way. And I think that's one thing that we saw this time and out of 4 when he almost had a moment with Weinkauf.
Yeah, Aaron Johnson back up to 4th in this race right now. That's a driver who, like we said, has a lot of confidence. Started out back in 6th after that invert, and he's managed to move his way up through the field. He expects a win here tonight. He expects nothing but a win, and he will try to get that. 38 laps in at Sobo.
38 laps in, a lot remaining. Over 100, and you know, here's the that almost threw me off. I think our producer just said he loves mac and cheese. And
that is on his car. That's on Aaron Johnson's
That's
hood.
what Aaron Johnson's car. I would say I do as well. And Aaron Johnson's trying to say I love mac and cheese, and I love it here at Sobo as well, trying to pick up the win. I was just talking about the driver of William Hale. He's fallen back. He lost those 2 spots to Bethea and Johnson. Might be one of those things we've talked about with this super late model Sky. As the run goes on, the car gets looser and looser and looser.
That it does, and it can really catch out these drivers here. Really, from what we've heard, these cars are set up to maybe get a little tighter over the course of a run. They start loose, get a little tighter. This is a night race as opposed to a day race, so we'll see if that changes any of these drivers' plans a little bit. I was just going to say, I've never been to Sobo. I don't know if they have mac and cheese on the menu, but if they don't, you might have to get them to add that.
Hey, we've got the world-famous bologna burger, though, and if you're thinking that that may not be good, trust me, it is. You'd be quite surprised.
Maybe if I ever get out there, I'll give it a try.
You should.
All right,
you should absolutely give it a try. Christian Peterson, we haven't got to talk about him much, but that's because he's led every lap so far. He's got the lead over Corey Bodie by just over 0.7 of a second, and he's been really good at working lap traffic. Because you and I didn't get to mention it before we got into lap traffic, but it is really important to click off each lap car, make sure you're not losing time to your competitor behind, and Peterson has done a great job of that.
Yeah, Peterson has really dominated this race here today. We mentioned he's one of those drivers in that really tight points fight, currently sitting in 5th, has a win on the season, will look to be our first multi-time winner here in the Hyper Summer Series, and will look to jump himself back into 2nd in points, right behind Corey Bodie, who was driven up through the field to get up to 2nd and try and stop Peterson from getting the win.
Gonna try to stop him, but again, a lot to go, a lot to be had here at South Boston Speedway here in the Hyper Summer Series. right along the back of Tanner Bethea, and Aaron Johnson, he is right there in the I Love Mac and Cheese 78. He's just taking his time as we are just almost 1/3 of the way through this. And we are, I gotta say it, we are caution free.
We are caution free here in the early stages at Sobo. We've had some clean races here in Misfit recently. Myrtle Beach, maybe not, but before that, we did have some pretty clean races over the course of this season, and we're back to that here tonight at Sobo. As the 78 takes a peek to the inside of Tanner Bethea there, has to back out, can't get the spot. He's getting aggressive. He wants this win.
Well, and Sky, you're talking about we're about 1/3 of the way through. Do you think if we continue to see this go green, do you think we see drivers maybe make pit stops? Or do you think, hey, we can go out for 150 laps and just run this?
I mean, it really depends here. I think we might see them, but I think maybe from some cars at the back who want to play a little strategy. For the drivers who are up front, I think they're going to push it as long as they can. I do not believe there is a fuel concern here tonight. Correct me on that if I'm wrong. If there is a fuel concern, we would see some. But if there isn't one, I think we'll see these drivers stay out. How about Jake Sylvia right now?
Look at him. Look at how high both of them are going. Grout is going all the way up into the 3rd lane, trying to carry momentum off of the corner, and Sylvia now trying to follow him. These two have been battling pretty much all race long, back for this 8th position.
We know Grout likes the high side, but that's pushing it a little bit here at Sobo. He is all the way up there on the wall. Sylvia looking high as well to try to find some momentum to get around him. Car hard in the wall. Brad Carpenter in the 31 just doored Aaron Johnson while trying to get around him.
Well, they all stay straight. They all
right behind him.
I see that. William Hale and Cody Dempster around in turn number 1, and first caution of the day here at Sobo comes out on lap number 56. The 62 of William Hale and the 24 of Cody Dempster get together, running 5th and 6th.
Yeah, you said they're battling for 5th there. That was right up the field. Two drivers who we expect to have great days, and they're going to both get heavy damage. We'll see it on the drivertees.com replay. Dempster up the track a little bit, got loose, and then tagged that 62 car once again to send him around.
William Hale has been falling back. Let's take another look at this. You can see Cody Dempster to the inside, just gonna squeeze a little bit. Next lap, he'll squeeze a little bit. You can see them battling wheel to wheel. We've seen them together for quite a while now. Cody Dempster gets the edge, really sends it here into 3. This is the view off of Justin Mulligan's car, and yeah, I think that Hale came down a little bit, didn't quite go all the way out to the wall, and I don't think Dempster would have expected that. They come together, and it was almost a great save by Dempster, but then he just has to come back to the right just a little bit more and gets into the 62, and they both go for a slide. That's going to be some heavy nose damage for the 24.
I've been looking at the 78 car of Aaron Johnson, trying to see if he has any damage. I do not believe so. There was definitely some contact between him and Brad Carpenter, but he seems to have made it out from that pretty lucky, pretty scot-free. He'll stay in 4th, so could have been a lot worse for that 78.
Definitely could have been worse for the 78 of Aaron Johnson. We mentioned the contact with the lap car of Brad Carpenter just moments before we saw this caution. So this is our first caution, and we were just talking about people possibly coming into the pits. Dempster, Carpenter, and Weissman, they have all come in for service, and Dempster didn't look to have too much damage or didn't want to take too much time for it. He was only in the box for 6.5 seconds, and 2 of those other drivers that did come in were in there for a little bit longer. So we'll see a first restart of the evening. And the front row is going to look the same, but the second row marginally different. The 2 drivers that went quickest in qualifying on the second row. But Peterson and Bodie will send it off the front row and send it into turn number 1. Jake Grout looking high, back on the outside as contact between Bethea and Bodie.
Getting at it for 2nd. We're getting at it for 4th back here as well. Aaron Johnson's taking that spot as Jake Grout is running all the way up the road, and it doesn't really seem to be working on this restart because the 78's got around him, and now he's got the 51 of Justin Mulligan right on his door, trying to make some time. That 61 has moved a little further down the racetrack to try to hold that car on the inside to try and get himself some momentum, but right now, not really working for Jake Grout.
Well, let's remember about these tires here on iRacing. really when they get cooled down, they're pretty close to how they fire off originally. They'll start to feel that wear a lot faster here once they get heated up again, but the fire off speed really good there. But you can see how close Mulliken and Grout are on speed. Grout running up high, diamonding the corner, trying to carry that speed. Look at how much speed he can carry off, but you can see how loose he is. Once these super late models get up to full throttle, that rear end, that's 900 horsepower driving directly to those rear tires.
And look who's coming right behind him as this battle continues to rage, and Jake Grout tries to get the spot on the top. Justin Crow is side by side with Jake Sylvia for P8. He'll take that spot. He started out back in 17th, so +9 here tonight at Sobo for the driver of that 86 car as he tries to get himself a good finish.
Crow had a decent go of it here since the start of the season. 2 top 10s, 1 top 5, and his other finish, a 14th place at IRP. So in his 3 races he's competed in this season, decent results for the 86, but I think he would like a little bit more. He's a driver in our regular Misfit Touring Series and late model stocks. He is a driver that is always competing. He barely missed out on the late model championship just over Christian Peterson in our last season earlier in March.
Yeah, he's a driver we know can get it done in the late model stocks. He's been a little more hit or miss here in the super late models, like you said, but good race tonight. Jake Grout is surfing on the top, and he's in the wall pretty hard. He'll lose 2 spots there to both Crow and Sylvia, and now Aaron Harden trying to move himself up through the field is on the inside of that 61 car. We'll see the drivertees.com replay. He's going to get loose, and into the fence, dropping 2 spots in the process.
A nice save, really good save, and he's really sticking to the high side. He's going to get to the wall once again. Sylvia slips up into the wall, and he has to check up. And so you saw it here. This is the original incident, but he just got into the wall once more, battling with Sylvia and Harden. And so he's fallen back now into the 10th spot, battling to the outside of Tim Weinkauf in the 54.
Jake Grout, a driver, the only driver, in fact, in this series who has a top 10 in every race this season. That streak is in danger now as that 61 is a little bit of damage on the right front and has slipped back all the way to 12th. Not going too well for Jake Grout. He needs to buckle down and get this thing back moving forwards.
Well, and look below him. It's William Hale and Cody Dempster, the 2 drivers that brought out our only caution of the evening. They're able to move on through, so this high side has really not worked for Grout. You got to think maybe he can try to switch it up, find his way towards the bottom. There has not been an opening yet for him as we cross the halfway here at Sobo.
No, there has not been a chance for Jake Grout to get down, and I'm really not sure if he wants to get down because he has been ringing it all the way high. A little bit of contact with Tim Weinkauf. Looked like Grout was going to try to send it 3 wide there, but he ultimately had to back out, and now he's got the lap car of Hudson Geiger underneath him. 61 all the way back to 14th. It's been a disaster of a run for Jake Grout. He's in the fence again.
And you can see just how he's driving. You can see the frustration. You can see the anger. And when you start to drive angry, you start to make more and more mistakes. There he goes, gets into the wall a little bit. While it is a small mistake, it is slowing him down bit by bit. There goes Hudson Geiger. That's not a spot for position as Geiger is a lap down. This is a spot here for the 1 of Weissman. He's also a lap down, but you got to realize how frustrating that is for Grout just to continue to follow back, jumping back up through the field. This is Aaron Harden in the 85, battling with the 118 of Sylvia. Harden going to move into 8th place as you can see them all getting close door to door.
Sylvia got tight there. I'm not sure if he hit the wall, but he definitely had to let off the gas to avoid some heavier contact. Dropped 2 spots now, threatening to fall outside the top 10 here as he's got Cody Dempster up his inside for that 10th position. Aaron Harden, mentioned it a little earlier, driver who's gone from 16 to 8, making good progress up through the field. He is one of the drivers in that big battle for 2nd in points, so he needs a good day, and he's having one right now as Sylvia's in the wall off the right door of Cody Dempster.
Dempster not afraid to make a little contact, and he is driving Sylvia close up towards that wall. Any driver on the outside really wants to make sure they're giving that wall just an extra foot, and Cody Dempster not wanting to give them that extra foot. He wants to give him an edge, and there goes Sylvia gonna give Dempster the tap. He sends him around. Oh. It's a stack up in turn 4 as caution waves for the second time. Sylvia was not gonna have any of it.
Big crash there. Jake Grout is around, and there was some heavy contact for both Hudson Geiger and Tim Weinkauf. That 54 car got sent into the pit entry wall. Major issues for him.
You saw it all unfold right on your screen. We'll take a look back at the drivertees.com replay. Dempster was running Sylvia really close. Sylvia tries to pull the crossover here, gets into the rear of Dempster, and Dempster goes around. That's all you need. And you can see other cars getting involved as the 24 was spun right broadside on the exit of 4. Weinkauf, Geiger, Carpenter, as well as Jake Grout all getting a piece of that. Oh, that's a big hit for Weinkauf.
Whole field is into the pits now, except for Aaron Johnson, who is staying out as everybody else comes down. First car at the pits on 2 tires is going to be the 20 of Tanner Bethea. He will jump up to second, Corey Bodie to third, Justin Crow fourth, or excuse me, Justin Crow actually had a late pit stop, so he is coming back down. Aaron Harden fourth, Justin Mulliken in fifth. Terrible stop for Christian Peterson because he put 4 tires on it instead of 2. The only car in the top 10 to do so. He'll slide back to 8th.
When we've seen many times this season when drivers have had the opportunity to pit, they have only taken 2 tires. It'll tighten up the car, make it feel a lot better rather than just taking 4. It's also a significant time faster in the pit lane. So Christian Peterson goes all the way from the lead back into 8th. But how about taking none for the 78 of Aaron Johnson? Is it a risky play, or is it the smart move that gets him the win of this race?
Well, I think he's got to try something. He was struggling to pass before. As he said, Sobo's very hard to pass. So maybe this is his tactic. He won't have to pass anyone if he restarts out front.
78, the I Love Mac and Cheese 78 machine starting up front. All tires behind him, 2 fresh tires. He is on none. 75, 87 lap old tires as such. And there we go. Corey Bodie, Tanner Bethea already hot on his heels side by side.
Oh, caution is flying further back in the field. Hudson, well, it's not Hudson Geiger, it's Jake Sylvia, in fact, who's around.
Sylvia, I think this all started with
this is with Dempster. This is a very interesting accident, but Jake Sylvia has kind of just turned Cody Dempster.
Yeah, and I'm seeing something else as well. I'm seeing a stack up from the 51 of Mulliken and the 61 of Jake Grout. This looks to be after, that did not look good. Well, let's see. That did not look good. You'd imagine that maybe Dempster would be more upset because Dempster was the one who just got turned that brought out the other caution. Sylvia, I think he was trying to make another move. He was trying to make another good run to the inside, and Dempster looked to be kind of cutting him off there, really not giving him the lane, and Sylvia was going to kind of make a lane of his own. Watch Sylvia run high here, diamond off the corner, cut down low, carry good speed, and yeah, it just looks like Dempster might have seen it and held a lane lower. I don't know. I don't know what to call that, but them two having an incident, it's not great.
There was also a moment for Hudson Geiger. That's why I thought he initially might have brought it out. He got major loose, went sideways on the front straightaway, clipped the inside wall, but he was alone, so there was no caution for that one. The caution was for the Dempster incident.
Well, and there was another incident as well during this whole thing. The 51 of, who was it? Let's see, looking through.
Justin Mulliken.
Yeah, it was the 51 of Mulliken. He checks up, and that gets Grout kind of sideways, puts him a little bit, almost 3 wide off the nose of the 54.
Yeah, we saw it in the background there where Grout was majorly sideways off the corner. We'll see it again here. Oh, yeah, there he goes. 51's up the road, and yeah, there's your contact.
I was trying to find Mulliken. I couldn't quite find him in the 51, but 3 separate incidents, and we're back. We're back.
Oh, we're wrecking again.
Weinkauf spun into the inside wall, and Kaufman is out once again.
Caution came out so quick, we didn't even get back from the other caution. You got Justin Crow. Major, major damage along with Weinkauf and Aaron Johnson there on the front straightaway.
Crow had been having such a clean day, had been having a great day in the 86. Doesn't look to have too much visible damage. That's what happens when you get in the mid-pack. We'll stack up there by Weinkauf. Looks like he might have missed a shift. And look who is involved in that. The 78 of Aaron Johnson, who immediately knew after that the quick caution, he saw Corey Bodie, Tanner Bethea right on his bumper earlier, and he immediately went into the pits.
Yeah, he took tires on that, and he's very much going to be wishing he did not take tires on that, because that
I don't think he would have survived out front on those old tires. I mean, Bodie and Bethea were already on his heels into turn 3 when we got that caution for Sylvia and Dempster. He's now probably wishing he would have just pitted when everyone else did.
Yeah, I'd say most likely, because he's going to have some nose damage on that car from the 86 being on top of it. Not a good situation for him.
So Johnson back in 13th after coming into the pits and getting involved in that incident. All the while, Christian Peterson, who started back in 8th after the pit stops, well, he is up into the top 5. He is in 5th.
Tanner Bethea will once again here go from the front of the field, and he will try to hold that advantage right now. Biggest mover so far today, still Aaron Harden, up 16-4 at the moment.
16-4. What a drive for Aaron Harden in the 85. Could he possibly get it done? Could he compete for the win? He's got some tough customers right around him with William Hale, Corey Bodie, and Tanner Bethea. Could Tanner Bethea, Corey Bodie, or could any of them get the win and be our 6th different winner of the season? The only winner up in the top 10 is the 51 or the 71 of Christian Peterson. Could any of these front runners get it done? Great jump for Bethea. He's going to have to hold off Bodie, though. He's right there.
And black flag is out for Jake Sylvia. So he is likely going to have some problems here as he's going to have to pit under green. That was a admin given black flag on that 118 car. So he is out of contention for tonight's race. Also a meatball flag in that crash for Cody Dempster. So I don't think we'll see him back out anytime soon.
And that black flag came for the second cause of a caution. Robert Taylor also out of the session as of about 20 laps ago. Just was not having a great night in the number 66. We ride along battling through the mid-pack, and it is 78 of Aaron Johnson as well around Jake Grout. He just got around Jake Grout in the number 61. Grout has had a tough evening.
Hey, look who's in 6th. I don't think we've talked about him much this series at all. John Leday is having a really nice day up here in this 22 car. He could use a good day here in the Super Late Model Series. He's running 8th in points. Really came on towards the end of the year in the late model stocks. His highest finish this season in the Hyper Summer Series is 6th at Oxford Plains, so he's trying to improve on that, get himself his first top 5 of the season here tonight.
And 3 top 10s for him. He's been really close. Oxford Plains, he was able to survive the chaos and get it done. He's a driver who we also see competing very well in our late model stock competition in the Misfit Touring Series. But he's really learning these super late models, and I think he's been getting better and better. He's having a great run today, just outside of the top 5, trying to break into that top 5 for, like you said, Sky, his first top 5 of the season. Another driver that has been kind of in and out this season in the Hyper Summer Series is the leader of Tanner Bethea. He has had a night that has gone from good to great.
Yeah, Tanner Bethea only made 1 start so far in the Hyper Summer Series. It was all the way back in 5 flags where he brought it home in P2, trying to one-up that position here with a win tonight. But you've got a lot of cars who, like behind him, like Corey Bodie, who do not have a win here in this series. William Hale does not either. Christian Peterson in 4th, the first driver who's won a race in the Hyper Summer Series. So we've got some hungry drivers looking to find their way on the top step of the podium for the first time here with 42 to go. Here comes Aaron Johnson up through the field.
Well, and I mentioned that the only 2 drivers that have got a win that are in the top 10 are Christian Peterson and Aaron Johnson. Only 3 drivers in the field here this evening have a win in the season. Cody Dempster is included in that list, but he is now 4 laps down after the meatball, after that big incident in the stack up before lap 100. We, in the blink of an eye, Sky, we've got 40 laps remaining.
This race has gone by very quick. Aaron Johnson is going to do what he can to try to get some points out of this race after all. He is on the freshest tires out here in the field, so if there's anyone who can drive through, it will be that 78 car. He's going to need a little bit of luck and a little bit of help, maybe from some yellows, if he wants to get it done here tonight.
Sky, another driver. We just talked about John Leday, who we haven't gotten to talk about much. Another driver we haven't gotten to talk about much, the 31 of Brad Carpenter. Remember earlier when we were talking about lap cars? Well, he was one of those cars that was getting lapped. Now he's running in 7th.
Only has 1 start so far in the Hyper Summer Series, brought it home 9th at Oxford Plains. He'll look for another top 10 here in his 2nd start of the season here tonight. But like I said, that is a driver we haven't heard much from this season, and he's having a pretty good night tonight. Pretty good recovery drive from some early struggles, although Aaron Johnson is going to take a huge send to the inside of that car. Looks like new tires are the play for the 78.
Yeah, Johnson not afraid of anything right now. He's got truly nothing to lose. He's battling for the championship, but he's 25 points back of Corey Bodie, and Bodie is running in 2nd. If he doesn't finish in front of Bodie, he continues to lose points, and we've only got 2 races left, that being at Thompson and at Hickory. It's now or never.
Well, we've got another DNF here tonight. Justin Crowe has backed out of the session, so he will be done for the night. Not a great end to what was a very promising start for one of the drivers who could really use to get a good finish here in this series.
Yeah, this will be his worst finish of the season. His worst finish to this point was a 14th place. He'll unofficially probably end up about 16th or 17th. So not a great end to the night for Justin Crowe, who was running in the top 10 in the first half of this race. Looking back towards the lead, the gap between Pathé and Bodie just under half a second, but it really hasn't closed that much. Looking at other drivers in the top 5, back from the lead, the interval from the lead, William Hale in 3rd, 1.2 seconds back. Christian Peterson in 4th, 2 seconds back. Then Aaron Harden in 5th. He is 3.2 seconds back from the leader of Pathé. I don't know if anyone can come up here and challenge Pathé without a caution except Bodie and Hale.
And you know that Corey Bodie wants this win bad. Even though he's the points leader, he doesn't have a win in this series. I think we all expected him to have a win by now in this series, and he really, really wants to get one. I mean, he led 22 laps last week at Myrtle Beach, or 2 weeks ago at Myrtle Beach, excuse me. He led 100 laps at the Bull Ring. He led 52 at IRP. He's had 2 third-place finishes. He's had a couple of races that went bad right at the end, but he just hasn't been able to get it done. He could really use a victory to kind of cement himself up there in the points lead and to really try and pull away in the championship fight.
When you gotta say, he's been riddled with bad luck this season here in the Hyper Summer Series. Pretty much been involved in an incident in pretty much every race. He's only got 2 third-place finishes. He's got 2 third-place finishes, 2 ninths, and a 19th at Oxford Plains, and he's been fighting for the win in every one of those races. I think tonight is the first night you could say that he has had no bad luck happen to him. It's just been tough to pass here at Sobo.
Yeah, and the 9th place finishes really do not tell the story. In his 9th place finish at 5 Flags, he started on pole, led a bunch of laps, had an average running position of about 3.3, finished 9th. At the Bull Ring, it was even worse. He led 63% of that race, had an average running position of 1.5, and finished 9th. So he's had a couple results towards the back half of the top 10, but for both of those races, he was running pretty consistently inside the top 5, as he has done much of this season. 2nd place would be a good result for him, but he wants that top step of the podium bad.
He wants it, and he's going to have 2 more opportunities if he cannot get it done tonight. He's dropped back from Bodie, he dropped back from Pathé. The gap now 0.7 of a second, so he's dropped back just 0.2 of a second in the past 5 laps. This is a little bout here in the back of the field, a fight between Matthew Knott and Jake Grout. This is a battle for the last spot in the top 10.
Matthew, not a driver we haven't seen too much from this season in the Hyper Summer Series, but he's having a pretty okay run here tonight. Sitting 7th in points, but he only has 2 top 10s. He would love to improve on that, get himself another top 10 here to move himself further up the grid. It was a 4th at IRP for him. It was an 8th at the Bullring. It's been kind of marred by some bad finishes, though. Went out on lap 1 at Myrtle Beach 2 weeks ago. Has a couple 14th, 15th places at Oxford and 5 flags. 10th tonight would get him back on the right track after that bad run at Myrtle Beach.
Yeah, sitting in 7th right now, 96 points back from the championship lead. So he's had a pretty decent run of our regular competitors. Just had a little bit of unluckiness at some of those racetracks, especially at Myrtle Beach just 2 weeks ago on that opening lap incident. I think we're truly now seeing that section of the race as we're just under 20 laps to go where track position truly matters.
Yeah, you're not seeing a lot of moves right now. The closest move on track, aside from this battle here with Grout and Carpenter and Knott, would be Aaron Johnson, who's still trying to catch John Leday, but he hasn't been able to reel that in yet. This battle's been raging. This is Tanner Bethea up front. There's been a battle raging pretty hard between Jake Grout and Brad Carpenter back there in that 31 car, as these two have been trying to go at it. Grout sitting in 9th, trying to recover from dropping to the back and getting some damage. Carpenter trying to hold on to the top 10 here to get a good result.
It's going to be hard for him to hold on to that top 10. The difference in tires between Carpenter and Knott, well, there is no difference between them. This is all raw speed, raw pace between those two drivers. One trying to stay in the top 10, one trying to get into the top 10. Everyone else behind them either a lap down or more. Michael Weissman, your first car, 1 lap down in the number 1 machine. You saw Tanner Bethea just go around him moments ago. Corey Bodie able to get around him now. You see Jake Sylvia right there in the 118. He's the second car 1 lap down. This is the battle for the free pass if we were to get a caution.
And with under 15 laps here to go at Sobo, Tanner Bethea is gone out there in the lead of this race. 1 second over Corey Bodie at the moment. Looking really good behind the wheel of that 20 car to claim his first win of the Hyper Summer Series and give us 6 different winners in 6 races here. If really either Bethea or Bodie can pull it off tonight.
I can't say it 100% because I'm not looking at the numbers, but I can confidently say I don't think there has ever been a series, whether it be the Summer Series or the Misfit Touring Series, where we run late models all throughout. I don't think there has ever been a season where we have never seen a repeat winner.
I don't know if there has been either, but we've got a chance here this year because we've still got some great drivers like Corey Bodie who are yet to find their way into victory lane. Leday is around. Aaron Johnson turns the 22 car. No caution, now caution.
And I gotta say, Aaron Johnson kind of sat there and waited for that caution.
Well, he wants it. He wants another chance to get himself up through the field.
But that's the thing. He just lost everything he did on that entire run. He was up into the top 5. Now he's back to 11th from sitting there and kind of waiting for that caution. Take a look at the DriverTees.com replay. Aaron Johnson had been working on Leday for many, many laps. And then comes to a stop. John Leday trying to get himself back righted. But lost all that track position. You can see that I think he was just a little bit frustrated trying to get around. Had been trying for a lot of laps, Sky.
John Leday is going to be pretty frustrated with that as well because he was having a really good race in that 22 car. One of our full-time competitors looking to try and get himself maybe his first top 5, maybe one of his best finishes of the season. And, I mean, there he goes.
Yeah. Not much more you can say about it. Frustrating for the 22 of John Leday and Aaron Johnson, who had been working after having to come to the pits. He decided to stay out earlier on old tires. We got a quick caution once he started from the lead, and from that he knew that old tires were not going to cut it. Came into the pits and had to restart 11th. Got into the top 5 throughout that run, but he just lost all that track position that he gained, and he will be back in 10th spot. We've talked enough about them. Let's talk about the leaders. Tanner Bethea was out to the lead by 1 second, but Corey Bodie is going to be right there fighting to the outside. I don't like this for Bethea.
Well, he has the speed. We know he has the speed because
absolutely.
we've seen him pull away over the course of this run. But like you said, he's got a whole host of hungry cars behind him. Corey Bodie, William Hale, drivers who are desperate for that first win. 5 to go, anything can happen.
Yeah, I just I don't like Bodie being anywhere near me, just with how he drives in these cars, so hungry for that first win. But they are also looking for that first win. Green flag back out, wheel to wheel, they run out of turn number 2. The 2 leaders. Bodie has it by a nose, but checks up here into 3. They're still right next to each other. Who had it at the caution? I think, but they had it at the caution, but we'll have to make a check on that. Looks like Mulliken and Johnson are slow.
Mulliken going around was ultimately the cause of that caution. Aaron Johnson, a little bit of contact there, trying to check up to avoid it. You'll see what happens to the 51 as he works down into turns 3 and 4. Looks like there was a little bit of contact here from Jake Grout behind him as we went down into the corner. Tagged the back of that 51 car, sent him sideways on the racetrack.
There you see
like we're going to go to overtime.
78, yep. We could be going to overtime here. I think we will do so. But also, in other news, as you're watching along here on the DriverTees.com replay, Corey Bodie got the lead because of that.
Ooh.
With where the caution came out and how they were sitting, where their noses were, Corey Bodie has taken the lead.
It was really close there because Bethea held it for
moment of caution.
Yeah, Bethea held it for much of that lap, and Bodie just barely stole that away.
If that's the way that Bethea loses this, that is going to be a heartbreaker.
I mean, it doesn't get any closer.
You can see it. You can see just how close they were. It's not at the line. It's at iRacing's moment of the caution, but even to the line, you could see how close that they were, nose to nose.
Yeah, it literally does not get any closer than that. I mean,
look at it.
Yeah, looking at the exact moment of caution, it's ooh.
So iRacing had already called the caution by this point, but even look at them all the way up towards the line. It's just, that's the difference. Sometimes that's what happens, and that's why Bethea really hated to see that caution as he had been running 1 second in the lead over Bodie. Now Bethea's going to have the outside. That's how Bodie got it last time. Could Bethea work the high side and get it over Bodie? Bodie going to be the control car for the first time here this evening. First green-white checkered attempt to be 2 to go at the line. That was chaos. I think.
There goes Bethea.
Oh my gosh, Bethea! I think he blinked out.
Big moment there for Tanner Bethea, and the car who's led a third of this race is wrecked in turn 2 in overtime.
Oh my goodness. I was wondering where he went, what was happening. A connection issue for the 20 of Tanner Bethea, who is about to line up on the outside of the front row. Blinks out, reappears in the middle of the field. Nothing any other drivers could have done at all. We'll take a look here at our DriverTees.com replay. You can see there he disappears. Nobody knows where he is. Christian Peterson going to make a little contact when he does reappear. You can't put that on Peterson at all.
No, Bethea just dropped out of the session there. Peterson, like I said, no idea where he was when he came back in. Man, that might be the worst possible time to lose a connection, and that'll likely be the end of the race for Tanner Bethea.
I thought that how the caution came out would be a bad way to lose the race if he did, but he didn't even get the opportunity to go back at Bodie.
No, and this will promote a couple cars up the grid. William Hale, we'll see him up to P2. He'll join Bodie on the front row. He's also going to look for his first win of the season here. How about Aaron Harden, 16-4. Matthew Knott looking for that first top 5. He sits 5th.
Sits 5th, 7 positions gained. So the first 2 drivers that will start on the front row yet to win here this season. Christian Peterson, the only winner up in that top 3. He's trying to ruin these drivers' dreams. He's trying to be the first driver to win more than 1 race here this season. Lights out. We explained to you a green-white checker was about to come. We'll give you a quick explanation. Green-white checker will have 2 laps to go, 1 yellow flag lap and 1 white flag lap. If we get a caution during the first lap, during the yellow, we'll stack them up and try for our final attempt because this is the second of 3 attempts. If we take the white flag, we'll race to the checkered. Green is out. 2 to go for Corey Bodie and William Hale.
Good jump for Bodie, but Hale's right back to his door. Still battling off of 2, but Bodie is clear by about half a car length. Hale is going to be there on the bumper. Can he get it done at the white flag?
One more. Can William Hale send it in on the inside? He sends it there into 1. Not going to have enough to get to the bumper of Bodie. Does he send it here into 3? He's not close enough. Bodie goes from heartbreak to heartwarming. Let's take a W here at South Boston Speedway. Your 6th different winner in the Hyper Summer Series.
Only led 15 laps there towards the end of the race, but that's all he needed to get the win. Started on the outside of the front row here tonight. Took him the whole race to get up to first, but he finally gets his first win in the Hyper Summer Series.
Wow. It's going to be an emotional win for him. We mentioned how close he has been, and I think in a race that you and I probably thought this might have been the only race where he was really never in contention all evening long, well, that's the one he gets it done at.
He's going to drive backwards here, find his way into victory lane. What a win for Corey Bodie. Ooh.
Hey, this is just how we do it here at Sobo, bringing it in reverse into victory lane. Congratulations to Corey Bodie picking up the win. The top 5, William Hale, Christian Peterson, Hardin, and Knott. Knott gets his first top 5 of the season. Congratulations to all of them. We'll get you back with our unofficial results and the interviews from the top 3 after this quick break.
to Josh Adams.
Back here in Halifax County after a thriller from South Boston Speedway on the Hyper Summer Series with Race MRL here at the Misfit Racing League, all presented to you on V-Speed. And Sky, I think we were just treated to such a great race, like you said.
That was an amazing race here. We'll take a look at our results in just a minute before we get interviews here from Bodie, Hale, and Peterson. But that was just a ton of fun tonight at Sobo.
It was great. Bodie picks up the checkered flag. William Hale so close once again. Another top 3 for him. Christian Peterson finishes in 3rd. 4th place, Aaron Harden. Matthew Knott picks up his first top 5 of the season. Then Aaron Johnson back and forth through the field all evening long, finishes in 6th. Brad Carpenter, great result for him. Great result for John Leday as well. They finished 7th and 8th. Justin Mulliken and Jake Grout round out the top 10.
Finishing back from there in P11 tonight, you got Jake Sylvia in the 118, Michael Wiseman in the 1 in 12th. Hudson Geiger, Tanner Bethea, 2 and 6 laps down, respectively, and then not finishing tonight, you got Justin Crow, Tim Weinkoff, Cody Dempster, and Robert Taylor.
Frustrating nights for those near the rear of the field. Lots of different storylines, but let's get the story from Corey Bodie. And Corey, you have talked about it all season long, how you've just been ridden with this bad luck, but tonight seemed like one of those nights where it might have been the only race we truly haven't seen you up towards the front until the end.
Man, we got lucky. We backed into that one for sure. I was second, third place car at best. Early run, we were just way too free to have anything at all for CP out front. And once we took tires and Tanner got the lead, he was just driving away. And I got the one good restart and was really, really looking forward to running side by side with him. And something happened in the back, and then he had the one like blink when we took off and ended his night. I was really looking forward to getting a run with him, but man, we just got lucky.
We were really excited to see how that would play out with you two playing different roles inside versus outside, and where y'all had been restarting all evening long. And, sometimes it as a racer, sometimes luck is all you need.
Right. And you've seen it against us all year long. We show up, we do what we're supposed to do, and then wound up, wrecked or 10th. So much respect to those guys up front. Prayers to CP and his family. He's got some stuff going on. So it was fun getting a race with all these guys again.
Well, it was great to see the luck flip your way. We've got 2 more races here in the Hyper Summer Series, and you're going to gain on your championship lead. It was 25 points coming into this evening. How do you approach Thompson and Hickory as we round out the season with such a big lead?
Don't change a thing. Aaron's a teammate, and sometimes when you go points racing and get too fixated on that, that's when you're prone to more mistakes, right? And unfortunately, he turned out of the pit stop. I think he had a wicked fast car that could have competed for a win, and definitely had the pace.
Anyone you'd like to thank tonight, Corey?
Yeah, Ryan, rkmsetupshop.com. He helps us out quite a bit. Race MRL, you guys. Hale helps me out quite a bit with some adjustments. The Bob Bandits, Shift Face Motorsports, all the guys that hang out and test with us and help us out.
Well, it seemed like this one should have come 5 races ago at the opening race at 5 Flags and pretty much every race after that, but it comes here at Sobo. Congratulations on the win, Corey.
Thank you, Scott.
Corey Bodie finishing on the top step of the podium, takes the checkered flag, and William Hale's going to get to catch up with Sky.
Get him in here in just a second. Hey, William, how you doing?
How are you?
Pretty good. P2 tonight here in the Hyper Summer Series. You haven't made a lot of starts this season, but a pretty good one tonight at Sobo.
Well, we were suspended for the past 2 races, so that would be why. Just to be honest, I mean, we had a slight disagreement at Oxford, so just how it worked out. So we're back. We're back in where we normally finish in the top 2-3 range. So one race back, we I'm glad Bodie got the win tonight. We worked together a lot, and he's a really good friend, and glad we could get him up there and get him a win tonight. And just kind of, after the little deal with the 24 on the front straightaway, we kind of just wanted to get the best we could. And I didn't think we'd drive back up here. Everybody's so tight, and a little luck, a little bit of internet connection, a little bit of everything. And here we are. The car fired real free to start the race. We put tires on, and then it went wicked tight, and then we're trying stuff, driving different ways. So it's just the way it ended up. So yeah, guys.
P3 at Five Flags, P2 both tonight and at IRP. But what more do you need to get that first win of the season?
Just a little luck, more anything. Some guys to cooperate on the racetrack a little better, and just a little more raw speed too. We haven't had the raw speed that some of our teammates have had. A lot of tonight was probably the first night we were off long run. Some of the guys fire off a lot better. I think I got some equipment problems on my end too. I had a wheel starting to skip on the gear, so I don't know exactly right now. The thing is though, when you're all on the same stuff, when you're all really close and you're all working off the same set of notebooks and working towards the same goal, it's really hard to win races that way. And you're just happy that your group wins at that point, right? Because that means you're firing on all cylinders, and you're just happy to be here, man. You're like a fat girl at prom, right? So it just how it is. So yeah, no, I think we'll get it. Sobo is pretty good. We're about to go to a decent run of tracks here to end the year, so I think we'll be up front. And if you just put yourself in contention enough times, eventually you're gonna walk away with one. So just how it's gonna be. I mean, it'd take tonight. We were gonna run fourth at best, and here we are. So just keep putting yourself in contention. Eventually you'll hit something.
Anyone you have to thank tonight?
I gotta thank everybody that supports this league, puts us on. MRL, thank all those guys. Thank Kyle, Sylvia, Bodie. We're doing a lot of cool things behind the scene. Thank you guys for showing up week after week. Can't wait to work with you guys more here in the next couple months on some big projects we have. And thank RKM Setup Shop, Stepdaddy's Bar and Grill as always. Got to thank old Gino. We're thinking about him tonight. Yeah, everybody puts us on the hyper setup shop. Thank those guys for putting this league on every week, and we're gonna keep fighting and just try to end the year on a good note.
All right, congrats on P2 tonight, William Hale. And we are now going to throw it back over to Scott, who is going to have caught up with our third place finisher tonight, Christian Peterson.
Yeah, Christian, what a story of your race tonight. You lead almost half of it running up front after getting the invert to start up front. You had a great piece under you, but then the caution comes out. Everyone decides to pit. You decide to take 4. Most of the drivers around you took 2. It puts you back to 8th spot on the restart. Tell me about that decision to take 4 rather than 2.
Just wanted to be kind of just at where I thought I was best at. I mean, I don't know, Tuesday really worked for me, and I just thought I could get them maybe late in the run there. We still had about like 60 laps to go or so when we went back green, and if we got a couple green flag runs, then maybe get them late, but just didn't work out. The car was really good though. Lide did a really good job building the setup this week. So thanks to him, and yeah, it was a fun race up front for sure.
I want to hear about the difference between the car in clean air out front versus in the pack, because it just looked like a lot of drivers tonight, once they got stuck where they were, there wasn't much movement.
Yeah, I mean, I think honestly, I didn't do many practice laps, but like the first run, like I said, John just did a really good job making the setup good, and I was just able to kind of run a pace, and I wasn't getting much pressure. And then when we pit and took 4, even though I took 4 and I knew I was going to lose some track position, I figured everybody was going to take 2. I just didn't adjust enough to free it up with the fuel burn off, and just got too tight. I mean, I think everybody it was either you were a tick free or you were a little bit snug, and if you didn't adjust enough on the pit stop, then you were going to be either, really good if you were free, or you were going to be, a little even tighter if you were snug. So just didn't adjust enough. But yeah, the clean air, I just think at the end of the day, when I got behind people, my car wasn't as good. I think my car was better, and I could have gotten by them. Just Sobo's a good track to pass at. It allows for side-by-side racing if guys are willing to push and use what they got. I just don't think anybody really had anything for the leader when they got out front.
Anyone you'd like to thank tonight?
Yeah, just John, everybody at Skyline put in the work. Just got to thank all you guys that put on the show. yeah, shout out everybody watching. Shout out my mom. Shout out just just everybody. So thanks, guys.
Another great run for you, Christian. Third top 5 of the season. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Christian Peterson rounds out the podium. Another top 5 for him. He's been a driver that has been competing all season long. He's 5th in the standings. And I think after this race, Sky, with Alex Grates missing this one in a rough night for Jake Grout, he should jump up into 3rd position. So another great run for the 71.
Yeah, we're going to see some big moves come all over the point standings here after tonight's race, and it'll really mix up those drivers. The only thing that's going to be certain is that Corey Bodie is going to continue his dominance out here in the front of the field, and that gap that was 25 points coming into tonight is only going to get bigger.
It is going to get bigger for sure. A great race all throughout these drivers. You can see those point standings before coming into the night. Sky, your final thoughts here on the 6th race from Sobo.
I think we had a pretty good race here tonight. A lot of drivers moving up and down throughout the field. Drivers coming from everywhere, all sorts of drama. One of the better races of the season. I had a great time.
I'd have to agree. I'd have to fully agree. I thought it was a great race. Good, clean racing. Like Christian said, a lot of side-by-side racing. We'll go on to Thompson in 2 weeks' time. And just 2 more races remain here from the Hyper Summer Series. And 3 weeks' time, excuse me. So we got a little bit of a 3-week break. September 14th, join us at 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central as we go to Thompson Speedway. We know it's built a lot, like the Paperclip, like Bartonsville.
It's going to be a good one at Thompson. We got Hickory coming up as well here over the last 2 weeks. I'm very excited for the end of this season.
Big thanks to everyone at MRL that makes this go round. Kyle Adams, Jake Sylvia, Corey Bodie. Big thanks to everyone here at our production team here at V-Speed. Big thanks to Bradley Cooper here in production and my colleague in the booth, Sky Schreck. My name is Scott Shive. We'll see you in 3 weeks' time for the race from Thompson Motor Speedway on the Hyper Summer Series here on V-Speed.